What is going on, guys? Today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. And so I asked you guys on Snapchat a couple days ago or last night, I don't really remember, I think it was last night. I asked you guys, what would you think of doing Waterfowl Wednesdays? And everybody's like, yes, do it. And so I'm like, okay, that's easy. I guess I'll be doing it. Anyways, today we're going to be doing the first Waterfowl Wednesday. We're going to be talking about duck calls, and I'm going to go drive out to somewhere where I want to film because it's really noisy around here. Duck calls. Crap, I dropped it. I figured it'd be a good idea to get out of the house to do this video because I tried making it like probably 4 times, just sitting in my room all sitting down, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm so used to just going somewhere and talking to the camera. I can't just sit down and yap. It's just boring. So I'm gonna try and make this a little bit more exciting than just sitting in front of the camera at home talking about duck calls. Okay, we're here. I found a decent spot. There's a little bit of noise from the interstate, but it'll be all right. Like I said, today we're gonna be talking about duck calls. And so there's a few different types of duck calls that I like to use, and there's a whole bunch of different duck calls out there. So this is just kind of the calls that I use, the ones here, but there's tons of different options for you guys. What I have to say about it first off is pick a call that works for you. Just because it sounds good with somebody else blowing it doesn't mean that that's the call that you need to have on your lanyard and you need to be using. Find the call that works best with your style of calling so then you can call ducks more efficiently. There's 3 different types of materials that duck calls are made out of. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's only 3. There could be some other ones that are just wacky. But first off is an acrylic. Full acrylic calls are the most expensive, at least I believe so. But you know, they are generally around $100 to $200. But you get what you pay for. This is a duck lanyard con artist, and I've grown to like it. At first I didn't like it so much, but then the more I used it, the more I started to really enjoy it. But some of the perks about acrylic calls are just how they sound, and they're very loud and they resonate really well. I've found like you can get a wider range on some acrylic calls than you can with other ones. But I like this con artist for doing hail calls and just getting those ducks that are way far out away. This is the one that I'm gonna pick because it's just so loud. Here's a little sound of it. So that's why I like this call the most, just because it's loud and you can really get out there far. The next material that calls are made out of are polycarb, which is basically just a molded plastic. It's different from an acrylic because this will absorb more sound than the acrylic does. The acrylic's denser than this plastic that this duck call is made out of. But a perk about polycarbs is they're a little bit quieter, so you can use them when the ducks are a little closer. You're not going to be just blasting them out of the water with, like, I would blast out ducks with that acrylic call if I called them with that close, which I've done before. I've figured out a way to quiet it down. But this call right here, this is a quackhead pipe. It's a single reed polycarb, and this call, I used to not like it very much, but the more I blew it, the more I did like it. So your polycarb is going to range in about, you know, maybe $20 to $30, probably not much more than that. It's all about personal preference when it comes to calls, like I said before. So here's this one. This polycarb is great for when the ducks are close and you can get down real quiet and hit those little feeder chuckles. And you can get those real soft quacks with the polycarb. See, if I tried to do that with this acrylic, it's a lot louder. So if you're wanting a quieter call, go to your polycarb. And then the third material is wood. I don't have any wood calls. I've never really had a liking for them. I really like the acrylics, so that's what I stick to. But you can also get a wood call. They're quiet too, and they're really good for finishing ducks up close. So you have a few different options when you're picking a duck call. You have a double reed, and you also have a single reed. Single reeds are probably preferred by most people. With single reeds, you're gonna have a louder call, and they're a little harder to blow than the double reed. So if you're just starting out, get yourself a double reed. That's what I did. I learned how to call a double reed, and then I started playing around with the single reeds and got the hang of it. The double reeds are a lot raspier and lower. And then your single reeds, they're gonna be a little bit louder, and they're gonna be, some are raspy, some are not so raspy. Like this one, it's just a lot louder and it's pretty raspy, but take your pick. I personally prefer single reeds, but I use my double reed quite often, and if you're just starting out, learn to call on a double reed. Last thing here that I really want to talk about today is a whistle. Some people say, oh, you need a whistle. Some people say, yeah, whatever. But this whistle you can do a few different calls on for different species. Main one is a mallard drake. Pretty cool. I've never really used a drake whistle that much. I really only have this call on here for teal, and then I also have it for widgeons. I've seen widgeons turn on this call, so you know, it all depends on how many calls you like to have on your lanyard if you want to carry a whistle with you. But honestly, I've never really used it that much. I get most of my jobs done with the little mallard hen calls. That's about it for me today for Waterfowl Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed this segment talking about duck calls, and I'll be doing a video here pretty soon. Actually, a few different videos on how to properly call, because there's a lot of people out there who don't know how to call, but they think they know how to call, and it just pisses everybody off. So I'm gonna make some videos for you guys, so stay tuned. Next Waterfowl Wednesday will be next Wednesday, and you can follow me on my Snapchat, which is KS Fisherman, all one word. I also have a Twitter and an Instagram. My Twitter is KS_Fisherman, and my Instagram is Kansas_Fisherman. Remember to leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Let me know what else you want to see coming on the next Wednesdays.